the second speaker here, and for this section this afternoon, we present by Professor Lin. Professor Lin is professor of National Technical University, and he got his PhD from Texas A&M. He's going to be talking about topics about related to the monitoring analysis of larger scale, landslide probability in regional scale, right? Okay, thank you very much, and let's welcome Dr. Lin. Thank you.
Thanks, Chairman Professor Chai, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think in my talk, basically most of the material are prepared by Professor Chen, Lofei Chen from Chinese Cultural University, also with great help from Xiaoyuan Ying and Qiyong Zong from Soil and Water Conservation Bureau. And basically my talk just follow the Professor Xie's talk from this morning, and we just report some results for the first 4 years project launched by Soil and Water Conservation Bureau, started from 2015, something like that. And in my talk, I mentioned potential large-scale landslide. Here, we define large-scale landslide as different from most of international researchers. And based on the hazard mitigation purpose, in Taiwan, we define large-scale landslide is the landslide. When it's fair, it will induce a larger volume of debris. The volume should be larger than 100,000 cubic meters. Also, maybe the larger scale landslide involve bedrock deformation, and if it's fair, the depth of the sliding surface is somewhere at least 10 meter deep. So that's the definition we use. And basically, we have some key observation. I think one key observation is during the Typhoon Morak. Fortunately, we have a LiDAR DEM taken in 2005, and also LiDAR DEM taken in 2010. And using the landslide morphostructure identified from LiDAR image, in 2005 LiDAR DEM, we identified 261 deep-seated landslide in Qishan watershed catchment. However, after Typhoon Morak, using the same area LiDAR-derived DEM taken in 2010, we found 53 landslides with area larger than 10 hectares. And we also identified 208 deep-seated landslides in 2010's data. And for 53 landslides with area larger than 10 acres, all derived from deep-seated landslide as we identified in 2005. So that's the key observation. We believe in Taiwan maybe most of the large-scale landslides are triggering or transformed from deep-seated landslide. So in my talk, we basically identify deep-seated landslide in LiDAR DEM and treat them as the potential site for large-scale landslide. So that's the first I'd like to mention. And for example, the Shaolin landslide, that's the big landslide causing 450 casualties during Typhoon Morak. On the left upper figures, it shows a three-dimensional LiDAR DEM taken in 2005. And we can identify several sliding phenomena in the two-dimensional image. And the left figure shows the three-dimensional aerial photos. So basically, if we see the landslide phenomena, we see actually the Shaolin landslide are deep-seated landslide. So that's a very good example show the deep-seated landslide transform into catastrophic failure. So based on these two observations, in our project, first we try to identify deep sea landslide from the LiDAR DEM throughout the whole island of Taiwan. And after Typhoon Morak, Geological Survey of Taiwan launched a 6 years project to have 1 meter resolution LiDAR DEM throughout the whole island. And using this data set, we can easily identify deep sea landslide. So for example, in the upper figure photo, that's the aerial photo, and it is very difficult to see the characteristic of deep sea landslide. However, in the bottom figure, it's a LiDAR image and easily to identify different kind of sliding phenomena, including the scarp, also the lateral scarp, something like that, or anti-ridge. So using LiDAR DEM, it is very easy to identify deep sea landslide in heavy vegetation areas such as Taiwan. So, like Professor Shen mentioned on this morning, and right now, at least we identify over 9,000 deep sea landslides throughout the whole island. We have so many deep sea landslides, so if we tell the official of the government, they say, don't tell me because it's too many, we cannot do anything. So the next step, we try to select some important sites for further monitoring or engineering measures. That's the flowchart we use to decide which sites are important for further monitoring or do some engineering mitigation. Within 9,000 sites of deep sea landslide, first we consider the vulnerability, and from over 9,000 sites, we select 186 sites for regional monitoring by using INSAR techniques. Under this condition, if within 186 sites, if damage has occurred or has been induced, then we go directly to do detailed investigation or further engineering measures. Otherwise, we evaluate the susceptibility and the activity of the landslide. If the susceptibility is moderate, then we try to install GPS monitoring system. If the susceptibility is low and the activity is moderate to high, we also choosing this site to install GPS surface monitoring system. After we have enough data and see the activity is very high, then we try also using the detailed investigation for further engineering measures. So that's the flowchart we're using to select the important site for further monitoring or engineering measures. And how do we evaluate the vulnerability? First, we're using the approach suggested by Japanese society and using minimum reflection approach. If we identify the area for potential deep sea landslide, then we will including 3-meter buffer zones, then using the minimum reflection and identify possible deposit area, C and D. So the damage area we're using to evaluate the vulnerability, including area A, B, and C and D. So that's the way we evaluate the vulnerability. So depending on how many people, how important of the engineering construction within this potential damage area. The other way, how do we evaluate the susceptibility of potential deep-seated landslide? We're using the approach called the wet evidence approach. And we collect the data using the large-scale landslide inventory map induced by Typhoon Morak as the sample. Also, we're using the deep-seated landslide we identify in the same area. Then we compare geological data and the geomorphological information, and by data classification, try to calculate the evidence for different factors. Then summation of this factor, then get the susceptibility. So that's the susceptibility evaluation matrix. We consider slope gradient, distance to river channel, lithology, deep slope, and distance to geological structure. So we summation all the weighting factor, then we gather the score, then we classify the susceptibility into 3 groups: high, moderate, and low. That's the way we evaluate the susceptibility of potential deep-seated landslide when they fail. So basically, regarding the vulnerability, we're choosing 168 sites and to do INSAR monitoring analysis. And within 186 sites, consider the susceptibility and the activity. We further choosing 34 sites to try to install surface monitoring system and to evaluate or monitor the activity of the potential large-scale landslide. Here, Professor Chen from Chinese Cultural University using TCP INSAR technique. Compared with most of INSAR information, in this technique, they consider 2 types of data point. One like PS, the other one is distributed point. In this slide, show the difference. For the PS point, we should identify the coherent, high coherence in every image we use in INSAR analysis. However, for DS point, distributed point, the point only shows some high coherent within certain image. So we consider both PS and DS in our data analysis. And this approach also used by Squeeze INSAR, like Professor Krosta mentioned earlier this morning. So this slide shows the result of TCP INSAR in Qingjing area. Like most of us know, in Taiwan, it's a heavy vegetation. So when we're using the INSAR technique, we choose the L-band ALOS-1 image to do analysis. That's the result of the study area we show here. It's about 100 kilometers square. In this result, we can see we get a very quite large amount of data point. I like to emphasize, for me, the accuracy of the point is very important. However, the pattern or distribution of point are also important too. If we look 3-dimensional distribution of this data, we can see the blue color represents moving away from satellite. So that in this case is moving downward along the slope. So we see the distribution of the INSAR data is quite nice if we compare with the GPS nearby in the study area, that's Minfeng, Lushan. We have the 3 continuous GPS stations. We compare the data with the GPS. And we see the blue line, blue dot represent the data of TCP we have, and the yellow dot represent the GPS data. They show the similar trend. So basically, we believe the data is reasonable. If we look at the 3-dimensional view, that's the ridge. Everybody familiar with changing area. And the dark line represents the deep city landslide we identify from LiDAR DEM. If we superpose we take out the vegetation using the LiDAR DEM, we can see the distribution of deep city landslide. And we superpose the data of TCP InSAR. We see most of the deep city landslide we identify show subsidence or moving down slope. And for example, in this case, we identify the boundary of this deep city landslide from LiDAR image. However, TCP data show the sliding area should be further southward. So if we look at much more detail, and we can see that's the site I just mentioned, and that's the LiDAR DEM, and that's the scarp, major scarp we identify. Then we see the data of TCP. So under this situation, we should multiply our boundary somewhere to here for the deep city landslide. I think that's the one way we're using the TCP data to help us identify the boundary of deep city landslide. That's the other situation. That's the other case near the Jingyin village, nearby Lushan. And that's the TCP data we have. We see the subsidence or moving downward of the data. And after the Typhoon Morak, we investigate in the field. We see a lot of crack or deformation within the village. So when we have LiDAR DEM, we identify the boundary of the TCP landslide. We have the TCP InSAR information. We can evaluate the activity of the deep city landslide. We also try to using this kind of information to separate or identify active moving block within deep city landslide. And here show 2 examples. That's the data we use in AROS-1 and the AROS-2. Try to keep tracking the activity of deep city landslide. That's the work we right now keep working at the present. So we're using the AROS-1 is launched from 2007 and it's finished 2011. And the AROS-2 is launched in 2015 and still working right now. So we're using the AROS data to evaluate past deformation rate. And we're using AROS-2 data try to keep tracking activity of deep city landslide. But as John mentioned in last talk, AROS-2, we can only have a few images every year. So we try to using the corner reflector and try to using Sentinel image to evaluate the activity of deep city landslide in next future. So after we have the TCP data, how do we calculate the activity of deep city landslide? I remember 3 years ago or 2 years ago, at the fourth slope tectonic, and Dr. Crosto Giovanni mentioned using the landslide activity index. Actually, during that time, we also using the landslide activity index, has the definition similar to his, and try to identify the activity of deep-seated landslide. However, we found that in heavy vegetation area, sometimes we only have a few data points. So we're using a few data points to try to calculate average activity, average displacement rate. Sometimes we will make mistake. So in our study, we try to using the matrix to evaluate or identify activity of landslide. Here, for example, that's the data point that we have, and we only choosing the data with negative value, then we summation the total negative data. Then we got the summation of the deformation within this area. Then we call that the, anyway, so that's the summation of the negative data value. However, we also consider the summation of the negative value divided by data point. So using this as the matrix, we evaluate the activity of deep-seated landslide. And how do we choose? And we just plot the data, see the normal distribution, or see the distribution, and choose one standard deviation and two standard deviation. And we divide it, it's a high, middle, moderate, or low for both data sets. Then we plus at the 3x3 matrix, we define the activity of such deep-seated landslide. So within 182 sites, we calculated so far 66 sites are evaluated with high activity, 3 are moderate activity, and 89 are low activity. That's the way we work to evaluate the activity of deep-seated landslide. Besides that, we also try to using the anti-INSAR data to identify the active moving block within deep-seated landslide. It's the example showing variation, seasonal variation of deformation rate within the block. And in this situation, look to us, these two blocks is much more active during the seasonal variation. So that's the two blocks we identify is quite active within the deep-seated landslide. We mark in LiDAR DEM. So that's the way we try to using this approach to identify active moving block. After we know that, when we install single frequency GPS, we try to put our equipment within this active block. So after we know the TCP data and we know the moving block, we also try to install single frequency GPS to evaluate or monitor the activity. That's the way we did. We combine the GPS data and the INSAR data. Then we try to install single frequency GPS at a different moving block. So that's the other example. So we combine these two kinds of data and we try to install our single frequency GPS. So why we choosing single frequency GPS? Because it's much cheaper compared to dual frequency GPS. And for landslide monitoring, because the baseline is only 1 to 2 kilometers long, so we can have reasonable data compared to dual GPS, dual frequency GPS. And the price only about 1/5 or to 1/3 compared to the dual frequency GPS. So that's the reason we're using the single frequency GPS. And it provides at least centimeter resolution in vertical direction. And probably we can have millimeter resolution similar to the dual frequency GPS. I'd like to mention here, we didn't using RTK to get our data. We transfer our data back to the server, then we calculate, we do some calibration, like a static calculation of GPS, so we can get a quite good resolution of the GPS result. So under this condition, actually we have quite nice observation of the displacement or activity at the different sites. And so far, those information are on the website of Soil and Water Bureau, Conservation Bureau. So everybody can go to website and can take a look. Every hour we change the data. So we have the data calculated every hour, and immediately we transfer those data to website. So if you go to the website, you can see the deformation of the displacement recording at the GPS. So after that, actually that's the part of the talk we will give by Professor Su in next talk. After that, we can evaluate the activity of the deep sea landslide. We have enough data. We also, the Soil and the Water Conservation Bureau also do some detailed investigation that like traditional geotechnical people did. They have the drilling and put some subsurface measuring data. And that's the way we did. The Professor Su did, and the people in Soil and Water Conservation Bureau did. So that's for detailed investigation and survey. So in my talk, basically over 9,000 deep sea landslides has been identified. And we treat those deep sea landslides as the site of potential large-scale landslide. And we're using TCP data to monitor 186 sites, which we select based on the vulnerability. And within the 168 sites, 34 sites are choosing for detailed investigation or install surface displacement monitoring system. So that's my talk. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much for your presentation, especially really interesting topics you're talking about here. And because we run out of time and we don't have time to make a discussion in this section.